Patrick McNeil joined now by Breton Eagles head coach Chadd Cassidy. Chadd, coming off a couple of days off, it feels like a long time after a crazy compact schedule. Team finishing up that stretch with a loss Sunday in Moncton. What did you make of the game Sunday against the Wildcats?
It was the tail end of a 4-6. We played like it. I didn't think we played terrible structurally. I thought we were okay. We didn't give up a ton, but at the same time, we didn't create a lot either. And Moncton plays with a lot of structure, and they're very tough to play against. And we just didn't have our legs, really couldn't make a lot of plays, or didn't make a lot of plays the first half of the game. And I thought, obviously, showed some resiliency in the third period, coming back and making it a tight game. And unfortunately, with some circumstances, we weren't able to complete the comeback, but I was happy with our pushback in the third.
Talk about the late stages of that game. You pull the goaltender, ultimately Moncton ends up hitting the net. We've seen yourself and really coaches everywhere at every level of hockey getting more aggressive in terms of pulling the goaltender early. What goes into that decision as to when to pull the trigger on sending your goalie to the bench?
The big one is, are you creating 5-on-5 offense? At the end of the day, if you're 2 goals down or even 1 goal down and you're just not creating a lot, how long do you wait to get that extra attacker out there to give you that advantage? Analytically, I think that the numbers over the last few years have shown that, especially multiple goals down, you got to get the goaltender out earlier, and even 1 goal down, you got to get the goaltender out early to start trying to create that offense, because it's not easy to do. That's kind of our thought process on it.
It's been one of those changes that's been so noticeable in the game. It's interesting to kind of get the coach's perspective on that. Another key moment in that game, Moncton goes up 2-0. Looked like Peter Repchik got hit by a high stick. And just one of those games that's going to happen every now and then where the calls just aren't going your way for whatever reason. What's the message to the guys trying to fight through that when you find yourself on the penalty kill?
It's one of those things that you play over the course of the season, and you're going to have some calls that go against you, and they're certainly going to happen in inopportune times. And quite honestly, in the Moncton game, we had, I thought, probably 3 or 4 of those calls that really hurt us at the wrong times of the game, or non-calls for that matter. Those are moments when they all even out in the end, but it doesn't make you feel any better when you're going through it. And I know in a tight game like that, some of those calls or non-calls can be the difference in the hockey game, so it was a little bit frustrating in that respect.
As you said, it will probably happen to every team at some point. Obviously tough for the officials on ice level as well. One guy I wanted to ask about as we try to touch on all the different players around the team, FJ Buteau logging a lot of minutes as of late. What have you thought of FJ's play as you've got to know him on the blue line in your time as Eagles coach?
He's done a really nice job for us. I think FJ has really kind of bought into the way and the style that we want to play. And he's super difficult to play against. I think he's a good puck mover coming out of our zone. He ends plays quickly. He gives us a physical presence, and he certainly competes hard every night. So he's really kind of embraced the role that we've given him and has certainly earned the extra ice time, in my view.
Finish up that stretch Sunday. You don't play again until Thursday. I always like to ask during these layoffs, do you like how the team handled this practice time? Did you feel the last couple of days were pretty productive?
That and rest is a weapon, too, in terms of just not being on the bus and getting to sleep in your own bed and getting into a little bit more normal routine and being able to breathe a little bit and then come in and focus on practice. And I thought we had 2 really good days of practice, and we were sharp, and we seemed to be getting ready to be back on home ice. I felt like the guys were energized and feel like they're ready to go.
Lastly, looking ahead to tonight's game, a Chicoutimi team that's also in a rebuilding phase. Given the fact you've had a few days to get ready for this game, what type of effort do you expect to see from your team tonight? What kind of game do you expect to see?
I think it's going to be a tight game. I think you find that both teams are not super high scoring. You're expecting a low scoring game, and I think they've found ways to win some games recently, beating Rimouski in a game that analytically, at least, they were pretty badly outplayed. So obviously their goaltending is pretty strong, and they play with some structure, and they capitalize on the opportunities that they do have. It's a matter of, again, just being really detailed and being really sharp in all the little areas of the game in terms of getting pucks out of our zone quickly, being really good on face-offs, and obviously the battle of special teams is going to be super important.
No doubt about that. We'll look forward to seeing it play out tonight, Chad. Our only chance to see the Sags this year. Best of luck tonight. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Patty.